Hi there, welcome to the Recovery Journey channel. Glad to have you back here. I'm Coach Chris, and we've been discussing, or I've been talking to you about three different types of substance users. And in episode 3, I kind of hit the highlights of a description of a person who is a heavy drinker, or a person who once they get started, they kind of can't control the intake. They, if you're anything like I was, you might be at that stage where once you take a drink, there's no telling how many more you're going to take, or how many more you're going to have. When you take a pill, an oxycodone or a pain pill or a benzodiazepine or whatever the drug is that you're using, cocaine, that once you start, even if it's been a week or 10 days since you last used, once you start, it becomes really difficult to stop. And if you're like I was, you really don't even think about stopping. You have it in your system, and it causes something to happen in your brain. And we'll talk more about what happens in the brain, because that's a big part of substance abuse and substance use disorder is what happens in the brain. It's really all in the brain. But what happens in the brain generally is that once I start, my brain tells me to keep going. And this may be where you were at a certain point, or where you're at now, as in the example of the second type of drinker and user, that once you started, you really didn't intend to drink. If alcohol is the thing for you, and you decided to have a glass of wine with a nice Italian meal, and it turned into 4 glasses of wine, and then a second bottle, and then something happened, and you found yourself passed out in the garage, or pulled over by the cops because you decided to drive to the store and buy another bottle of wine. A negative consequence. Let's generalize it as a negative consequence. So if you're that type of drinker, that's the number 2. And remember, I said early on that these are just examples, very generalized examples, that I wanted to throw out there for you to determine where you might be in your substance use. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the person who says, yes, I am an alcoholic, or yes, I am a drug addict and I use drugs a lot. And drugs and alcohol are causing a problem in my life and have been for quite some time. So what are the consequences of that? What does it look like to be a person who is addicted to alcohol and drugs? What do they do? Now, only you can determine whether this is you or not, but I'm going to talk about some of the ways that people use drugs and alcohol who are alcoholics and drug addicts. I'm going to talk about some of the symptoms that would define a person who is an alcoholic or drug addict. Okay, this is number 1 out of the 3. Number 1, this person drinks or uses nearly every day. Okay, this is the person that I became. I started out as number 3, the binge drinker and user, and then I kind of moved into the phase where when I drank, I didn't really know when I was going to stop or if I was going to stop. Usually some outside force would have to come into play for me to stop. And then I moved into what I now know is real alcoholism and real drug addiction. That is described this way. I use almost every day. I'm pretty constantly thinking most of the time about when my next drink or drug is going to be. I'm making a plan. I have to have a plan to drink and use because by the time I get to this stage, it's not really that easy normally to have a successful drinking episode. I have to hide it from someone probably. People that care about me, that are in my life, have seen that I've got a problem with alcohol and drugs, and they're worried about me, so I don't want to hear anything from them, so I'm hiding it. I'm also spending money. Okay, drugs and alcohol are not cheap. I'm spending more money, more and more and more, to obtain the substance that I want to use. I'm having problems with my relationships. The people that care about me are worried, or they're mad, or both. I'm spending less and less time caring for those people that I care about, or that I should be caring about. My children, my siblings, my girlfriend, my wife, my friends. I spend more time being concerned with my using friends than I do my normal friends. Any of those things familiar to you? I want you to think about them and consider that these are descriptions of a person with a real problem. And this is not a problem that you want to have. This is a problem that you want to get rid of. If you're in this stage, if you're a true alcoholic and addict, then chances are things are kind of crumbling around you, if they haven't already. This is the reason that you're watching this video right now. Most probably, I get maybe one person out of 500 that watch this channel that are watching it for educational purposes, that don't have a problem with drugs and alcohol. It's probably not you. So those were descriptions of the three basic drinkers and users. And in the next episode, I'm going to talk a little bit more generally. I'm going to give you an opportunity to put together your thoughts about these first 4 episodes and determine where you fall in those categories. And then we're going to begin to lead into some things that you can do, some things that you need to do if you want to stop this progression, whether you're the binge drinker at this moment, but you have a little bit of concern about what's going on, or whether you're the heavy drinker or heavy user that kind of loses control once you get started, but maybe you only do it every few days or once a week or every other week, but you're losing control. Or if you are the true alcoholic and addict, and you're in a cycle, your life is cycling from drinking and using to piecing things back together and making promises and making vows to not drink or use anymore, and you're maybe going to rehab centers and you're having a lot of struggles, but yet you continue to drink and use at almost every opportunity. You're one of the three, and I want you to just consider those things and watch for the upcoming episode that I'm going to be recording next, and I'm going to talk to you in a little bit more detail about addiction and alcoholism. My name's Coach Chris, and I'm glad that you were here today. And I hope that I was able to give you something to think about. And we're going to get into some solutions in upcoming episodes. So thanks for tuning in to the Recovery Journey YouTube channel. You can hit the subscribe button, and then you can hit the little bell, which is an icon that will send an alert to you when I've posted another episode on the channel. So thanks a lot for being here, and I wish you all the best.